Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. As you can see, it is freezing out here, but I still love it. I still get out here to meditate and stay grounded. But I wanted to talk to my chosen ones today about being able to identify. You know what I'm saying? So I realized through my ascension, or let me start before I really start ascending, that it was kind of hard to identify things and to put labels on things, to put them in places for me to be able to fully comprehend what was actually going on or what was being done. And I say that to say, like, a lot of beings have a hard time identifying things. We always want to like leave things open in the air for just like whatever, whoever, just for miscellaneous, you know what I'm saying? But we have to understand on a deeper level that if we don't identify things, it makes life a lot more harder and complicated for us. So for a small example, it's like these trees, you know what I'm saying? We call them trees, put it whatever name or label or title we want to put on them, but it's like we had to identify them as beings having a human experience so that way we can know how to interact with that energy, basically. You know what I'm saying? So on to the beings, it's more so of like a lot of people and beings that's like, that be like being witchy or just like being confusing. They don't really like to identify subjects when they're talking. They don't really like to identify themselves with like certain characteristic traits or however we want to word these things, you know what I'm saying? But I realized for me, as I started ascending, identifying things became extremely important to my growth. When I started learning more information and diving deep about as far as what's going on with everything, you know, from the government dives to the spiritual dives to the esoteric dive, just everything, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's infinite information out here. So I always get confused when people are not learning or have a lack of information to give out there. Peace, family. They always show the love every time. It never fails. But it became extremely important for me identifying, just because I was living in situations and being around beings that, you know, I kind of wanted to see them as me, you know? I didn't want to label them or put them in a different box away from me. I genuinely, wholeheartedly wanted these other beings to kind of like be like me. Not in a sense to where like we're exactly alike, but like us chosen ones know what it means. You could be chosen and be on another side of the world and you can do painting, and this chosen one is on the other side of the world and they do music, but y'all still have that connection between y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all are still similar because y'all basically share the same belief system. Whether it's, doesn't matter which religion you put on the title, you know what I'm saying? I still believe that whatever religion you believe in, you have a belief system, and it's usually with the creator, which is why I'm just spiritually connected. I fuck with all religions, you know what I'm saying? They all got the ups and downs to me. But when I had to start identifying these beings, it made the process a lot easier for me as far as like communicating with them, as far as like understanding like certain situations when it comes down to like compromising or like just doing a better job at managing my energy around these beings. You know what I'm saying? When you able to identify, and when I was able to start identifying, it was like I don't no longer just see them as me. So it's easier for me to kind of just be like, all right, I understand it's a spiritual war going on. These beings have something else attached or connected to them. You know what I'm saying? It's they're not vibrating on this frequency up here. They aren't looking at the creator or God in the same light, you know what I'm saying? So get into that space and understanding that, it just helped with the growth, because then I was no longer fighting this whole process of damn, I gotta get them this information, you know what I'm saying? I was only in this position because I didn't have the information. So if I give them the information, then they're gonna want to learn it, and then they're gonna start growing and ascending, and then we're gonna just be out here, boom, 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 knocking everything out, team, wham. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the process with them. You know what I'm saying? So a car is a car, a truck is a truck, a bike is a bike. You know what I'm saying? We don't look at the bike and say, oh, that's a car. You know what I'm saying? We don't look at the truck and say, oh, that's a car. We don't look at the car and say, oh, that's a truck. We gave them two different labels. And we have to do these things to be able to identify what's actually happening around us. That shit was huge for me. And I know for a lot of chosen ones, and as I could see from a lot, you know, the few people that do reach out and we chop it up and tap in, it's like, it's always getting to that understanding that these family members, these peers, the people around us, some of the ones that we run into, the neighbors, you know, we have to be able to identify that they do not move the way we move. They do not have the same belief systems as us. They do not operate with the same like purity that we try to operate in. You know what I'm saying? And when I say purity, I mean just vibrating on our love frequency. Not saying pure like we don't fuck up and make other choices. You know what I'm saying? I don't really believe in doing it wrong. You just have a left choice and a right choice. You know what I'm saying? There's always different doors and avenues. But being able to identify is going to be able to make all your decisions and choices for you a lot easier when dealing with certain beings and when you going into certain locations. You know what I'm saying? I know if I go into a Chinese store, I know what kind of vibes I'm going to get, so I know how I have to communicate and operate with them. It's fucked up that us in the Western world always got to put on that dumbass accent, but I don't know why we always do that shit. They say hello, we be like hello. I'm like the Arabs that do the same thing. It's all love, but for some reason it's like we want to be as relatable and as understandable as possible on the other side, not trying to be funny with it. You know what I'm saying? It's not, fuck them other people who doing the witchy shit, making fun of that shit because they have no comprehension. But I'm just speaking as far as like we actually do that shit sometimes when we're out here, but it's not like in a harmful way. It's more so just trying to be relatable and understandable. Identifying chosen ones, we have to be able to identify. The faster you get to a space to where you can start identifying and becoming more comfortable in your choices and your decision making, the better it will be for you moving forward, and the better it's going to help you have that relationship that you have with that being. It's going to make it more stable, whether it's growing or whether it's not growing. It's going to be more stable on your end. You know what I'm saying? I know. Anytime we vibing out here, y'all already know what we going to get. I changed plenty of locations. This is completely different than the last one. And we out here, you know what I'm saying? Peace to the kings and queens. This is how we always doing it. They show love consistently. We going to consistently show that love right back. You know what I'm saying? But we all want to continue to keep growing and building and doing what we can to raise each other up. You know what I'm saying? The technology just made it a little bit easier for us to kind of be able to reach everybody and for us to all connect. A lot of people think that we aren't building something spiritually within because they only see this part. But we're all collectively collaborating spiritually and building something much bigger that the enemy doesn't see. You know what I'm saying? And that a lot of people who don't know how to vibrate on this frequency don't see. You know what I'm saying? They still down here, so they just thinking, oh, you just doing this in front of the enemy's face. You have to understand how many other more people are becoming connected and starting to be able to identify what's going on around them. You have to be able to identify, you know what I'm saying? I ain't want to run it up too long. Y'all tapping everything down below. Peace to the kings and queens.